for your comments and your questions as well. I'm going to go right here first. Go ahead, yes. Question is for Michael about how you prepare to play a despicable character.
Yeah, I mean, kind of trying to sort of, well, he's a human being, so got to sort of approach it with a very sort of human touch. Try to find his voice first, work with a lot of different tapes. Jim Monick helped me out, dialogue coach, and then just spending time with the script, a lot of time with the script, but just, trying to find a human being in Epps, because everybody, obviously, what he does is pretty terrible, but I don't know, there's something in there that I kind of feel sorry for him, that he's sort of, he's a victim of the time as well, he's in love with Patsy, and he can't deal with it, how can you be in love with the slave? And so he sets about, suppressing her and beating her, to try and beat it out of himself. So I thought that there was a really amazing humanity to him in that alone. So that was my in, the sort of love for Patsy and exactly how he was sort of processing that. And I think, I've said this before with Epps, I think I see him as a representative of the time. He's all the ugliness of the time is sort of culminated in his character.
Thank you. Is there a question in the balcony? Yeah, in the center, go ahead.
Hi, question for Steve. I found the film to be stylistically quite different from, sorry, I'll speak louder. It's stylistically quite different from your past films. I was wondering, did you feel that you needed to put yourself in a different place as a director for this film, given the subject matter and the importance of the story?
Questions about the style of the film and how it differs from previous work.
I don't really know, I'm not cool. I'm really not cool. So I don't really think about style that often. The camera has to go where it's necessary to capture what's in front of me. So therefore, it's not about sort of thinking about it in such a way. It's all about what's in front of me and what the actor has to do and also what's going on in the scene where the camera has to be. It's kind of, I don't know, I mean like a Hamlet situation or anything else. Okay, that's right and that's wrong. That's about it.
Yes, right here. Question for Michael, of the 3 films you've done with Steve, which one was the most challenging?
I don't know, it's apples and oranges. It's like, I don't know. I mean, they're all challenging pieces. I think, for an audience as well, that's the great thing about Steve's films. I think as an audience member, you have to contribute. It's not a passive experience in any respect. They all had various sort of levels of, challenge to them, but I have to say with this one here, I mean, really, the support system outside of Steve, which is almost like, I love them to death, but these guys, I had a really sort of, amazing, you come to work and you're sort of supported by this cast, and I think together we sort of looked after each other and provoked each other and supported each other, so, it's challenges all of the films.
Thank you. There's a question right here, yes?
I love your work, Steve. It's just really amazing. I just wanted to know, in terms of the role of women in slavery, and it was very layered, and I thought you handled each woman in the film remarkably well, and I would like to hear from them to talk about their roles.
I have questions about the female characters in the film. Alfre, Lupita, Sarah, would you like to comment?
With Mr. Shaw, we know that she existed, women like her existed, challenge was, and Steve laid the bed for it and prepped it all and kept a close eye and hand on it. We had to create a world that we could believe was still going on when we were away from the world of the explantation, and that it gives us another into Patsy. And I think Mrs. Epps could not, Mistress Shaw she couldn't associate with the other plantation mistresses. She couldn't go into the field, and she loved that. And so there's some nobility in Patsy that she recognizes, although Patsy is in that field picking 500 pounds of cotton a day. She recognizes that in her, and she's company for her. And so it's a world that she desperately needs. She's got other black people waiting on her and screaming, and she calls him Nigga Epps as soon as he walks up. But she recognizes a kindred person and starts the process of helping Patsy to understand how to use her power in the world. And the fact that Solomon is learning. Mistress Shaw is not, but she knows somebody when she sees it, and so that's another way of her getting close to his gentility and sophistication. So she creates her own party. These are the only two people that she could possibly have a socialite with outside of her husband.
For me, Patsy was such an incredible woman in the script, and I was so excited about getting the opportunity to bring her back to life. I mean, she's described as being agile, genial, pleasant-tempered, and the hardest worker of the field. But at the same time, she wishes for her death. And that kind of complexity is something that one can only dream of playing. And to know that she was a real woman that tread this earth just made it even more humbling and more inspiring to do. And for me, the thing that I love most about Patsy is that she experienced so much pain, but she was always working through it, not wallowing in it. And that kind of strength is so inspiring, and I wanted to play her with agency and dignity, because these... I'll stop there.
Sarah, if you could add your own thoughts as well.
Well, I play Mistress Epps, and although she behaves deplorably, obviously, I had to find a way into playing her in a way that I could sit with and understand. And the way to do that was to realize that she was behaving out of fear. And it's not to justify her behavior, but just to sort of acknowledge that this is a woman who was being usurped by someone and in front of everyone and was deeply embarrassed, and her way of fighting back was to behave in a indefensible kind of way. That was her way of dealing with it. And again, I'm not trying to justify her behavior, but as an actor, when you're doing it, it's not my job to judge her or to decide the right and wrong of it, but to commit, because the story that I'm part of telling is the story of Solomon and Patsy and all of those men and women and children, and it wasn't for me to get in the way of it, to try to make it softer or more palatable or to go down more easily. That would have been a big disservice to the story, and the only way to do it was to lean in and throw myself into it without apology. And so